Imagine a speck of light, smaller than a single pixel, suspended in the infinite blackness of space, a fragile mote catching a fleeting sunbeam. This is Earth, our home, as seen from 6 billion kilometers away, captured in 1990 by Voyager 1. Carl Sagan's words on this pale blue dot didn't just describe an image, they shattered our illusions of grandeur, urging humanity to confront its cosmic insignificance and profound interconnectedness. In his 1994 book of the same name, Sagan wrote, "Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives." This passage, born from a photograph he championed, has reshaped how we perceive our planet, not as the center of creation, but as a tiny oasis demanding stewardship and unity. Over 35 years later, in 2025, as climate crises escalate and space exploration surges with missions like Artemis, the pale blue dot remains a clarion call, blending science, philosophy, and ethics to redefine our place in the universe. Join me as we delve into the origins, revelations, and enduring legacy of this one quote that forever altered our gaze upon the blue marble we call home. The pale blue dot photograph emerged from the Voyager 1 mission, launched in 1977 to probe the outer solar system, but its final act was a poignant farewell orchestrated by Carl Sagan. As Voyager hurtled beyond Neptune, Sagan, a Cornell astronomer and Voyager imaging team member, proposed turning the spacecraft's camera back toward Earth for a family portrait of the planets, an idea he first floated in 1981 after the Saturn flyby. NASA initially resisted due to risks to the cameras from pointing near the sun, but after 6 requests spanning 8 years, approval came in 1990. On February 14th, Valentine's Day, Voyager 1, then 40.5 AU from the sun and 32 degrees above the ecliptic plane, captured 60 frames, including the pale blue dot as frame 43. Earth appears as a 0.12 pixel crescent in scattered sunlight rays, a technical artifact from the narrow-angle camera's 1500 mm f8. 5 catadioptric telescope using violet, blue, and green filters. Data trickled back over months via 4 deep space network passes, arriving fully by May 1, 1990. Sagan unveiled it at a summer press conference, calling it a humbling view that underscores astronomy's power to pierce human conceit. This image, processed from raw Vidicon scans, wasn't scientifically vital but symbolically transformative, marking the last time Voyager's cameras would gaze homeward before shutdown to conserve power for its interstellar voyage. A decision that has allowed it to continue sending data into 2025. Sagan's quote, immortalizing the image, weaves poetry with profound philosophy, challenging anthropocentrism by enumerating humanity's triumphs and follies on that minuscule stage. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, he wrote, evoking the full spectrum of human experience compressed into irrelevance against cosmic scales. This reflection, refined from a 1993 draft where he pondered alien observers, strips away delusions of privilege, exposing the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. Sagan's words, delivered in his sonorous voice in a 1994 Cornell speech and audiobook, blend scientific fact with ethical imperative, arguing that recognizing our shared fragility demands dealing more kindly with one another and cherishing our soul habitat. By 2025, with the audiobook preserved in the U.S. National Recording Registry for its cultural significance, the quote endures as a manifesto against hubris, reminding us that borders, wars, and egos are illusions when viewed from the void, a message echoed in recent Reddit discussions praising its timeless call for empathy. Philosophically, the pale blue dot and Sagan's elucidation dismantle centuries of geocentric arrogance, echoing Blaise Pascal's 17th century lament of humanity as a thinking reed in an indifferent universe. Sagan frames it as the latest deprovincialization, following Copernicus's heliocentrism, Darwin's evolution, and Hubble's expanding cosmos, each humbling our self-importance. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe are challenged by this point of pale light, he asserts, invoking the sublime, a concept from Edmund Burke where vastness overwhelms reason, fostering awe over fear. This perspective counters religious or ideological claims of cosmic centrality, urging a secular reverence for the universe's magnificence. In 2025 philosophical discourse, as explored in Monash University studies, it evokes cosmic insignificance syndrome for some. Yet for many, it births existential purpose. If we're adrift on a lonely speck, our choices toward unity or division define meaning. Sagan's humanism shines through, positing science not as cold reductionism but as a path to wonder, where knowledge trumps reassuring fables, a theme revisited in Vatican Observatory Reflections on its 35th anniversary. Scientifically, the image underscores Earth's precarious uniqueness, a watery world teeming with life amid a barren solar system, as detailed in Sagan's book Blending Voyager Data with Planetary Lore. From Venus's hellish greenhouse to Mars's thin atmosphere, Sagan contrasts these to Earth's pale blue vitality, born of plate tectonics, ozone shields, and evolutionary serendipity. The quote amplifies this by compressing all biodiversity, from extremophiles to redwoods, into that dot, highlighting how fragile balances, atmospheric oxygen at 21%, liquid water's narrow range, sustain us. In 2025, with JWST revealing exoplanet biosignatures, the pale blue dot reframes habitability searches. If Earth is rare, as Sagan predicted, then preserving it becomes paramount amid biodiversity loss and climate shifts. Sagan's vision extends to space ethics, warning against contaminating other worlds, as in his advocacy for planetary protection protocols, now enshrined in COSPAR guidelines, influencing current missions like Europa Clipper. Culturally, the quote has permeated art, music, and media, transforming a scientific snapshot into a global emblem of humility and hope. U2's Bono recited it in a 2005 concert. Dream Theater titled a 2021 track after it, weaving progressive metal with existential riffs. And Melody Sheep's Symphony of Science videos layer Sagan's voice over cosmic visuals, amassing millions of views. Literature echoes it in Kim Stanley Robinson's Mars trilogy, where colonists invoke the dot for unity. By 2025, NASA's 35th anniversary remaster, enhancing contrast while honoring originals, sparks viral TikToks and murals, from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory to street art in Berlin, with digital art prints featuring the quote surging on platforms like Etsy. Films like Contact, 1997, co-written by Sagan, embed its ethos, while Zen Pencil's comic adaptation has inspired educators worldwide, proving its power to bridge science and storytelling. Environmentally, Sagan's call to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot resonates urgently in 2025, amid COP30 talks and record heat waves, framing Earth as our only refuge in a hostile cosmos. The quote critiques resource wars and pollution as rivers of blood spilled, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot, linking geopolitics to planetary peril. Studies in planetary health invoke it to advocate transdisciplinary action, countering anthropocentrism with cosmic interdependence. Sagan's foresight, warning of nuclear winter and ozone depletion, prophesied crises like Arctic melt, urging global cooperation as if viewed from Voyager's perch. Initiatives like the Planetary Society, co-founded by Sagan, channel this into advocacy, funding asteroid defense and climate tech, with 2025 campaigns explicitly citing the dot for biodiversity preservation. In education, the pale blue dot serves as a pedagogical cornerstone, fostering overview effect insights akin to astronauts' awe from orbital views. Teachers use Sagan's narration, preserved in 2023's National Registry, to spark STEM curiosity, while philosophy classes dissect its existential ripples, from Camus' absurd to Heidegger's being. A 2023 ResearchGate study on pale blue dot effect found it boosts empathy and small self-humility, reducing dogmatic views across cultures. By 2025, VR simulations recreate Voyager's vantage, immersing students in cosmic scales, aligning with Sagan's cosmos legacy to democratize wonder, as seen in Cornell's Carl Sagan Institute programs where students recite the quote during exoplanet hunts. Politically, the quote challenges nationalism, positing no special nations on the dot, only shared stewards amid fervent hatreds. Sagan's humanism influenced figures like Anne Druyan, his widow, who in 2025 pushes interstellar messages echoing Voyager's golden record. It critiques space race jingoism, advocating cooperative exploration, as seen in Artemis Accords signed by 40 nations. In an era of UAP hearings and billionaire space races, it tempers hubris, reminding that true progress lies in earthly harmony before stellar leaps, a sentiment amplified in Reddit threads calling for Sagan-like voices in divisive times. The quote's psychological impact, termed cosmic perspective in 2025 studies, elicits awe's dual edge. Insignificance breeds anxiety for some, yet purpose for others, per Monash research on sublime overwhelm. Sagan counters nihilism with agency. In our obscurity, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. It is up to us. This empowers, turning vulnerability into resolve, as in therapy, using the image for eco-anxiety relief, with apps in 2025 incorporating narrated versions for mindfulness. Sagan's book, Pale Blue Dot, A Vision of the Human Future in Space, expands the quote into a sweeping narrative, blending Voyager's triumphs with warnings of nuclear winter and calls for space colonization as species insurance. He envisions terraforming Mars or asteroid habitats, not as escape but extension of Earth's legacy, urging ethical expansion. In 2025, with Starship tests, this foresight inspires debates on multiplanetary ethics, while the book's won 500-plus Goodreads reviews hail it as a blueprint for survival amid existential risks. Legacy-wise, 35 years on, NASA's 2025 anniversary events reaffirm its vitality, with remasters and Carl Sagan Institute exhibits compiling memories from colleagues like Anne Druyan. Druyan's Cosmos reboot and planetary health movements carry Sagan's torch, ensuring the pale blue dot inspires beyond astronomy, toward a wiser, kinder humanity. As noted in Unexplained Mysteries tributes on his would-be 90th birthday. As we face 2025's crossroads, AI ethics, biodiversity collapse, the pale blue dot endures. Sagan's voice, a beacon. Cherish this dot, for in its fragility lies our greatest story. If it stirs you, share it. The cosmos awaits our better selves. As we face 2025's crossroads, AI ethics, biodiversity collapse, the pale blue dot endures. Sagan's voice, a beacon. Cherish this dot, for in its fragility lies our greatest story. If it stirs you, share it. The cosmos awaits our better selves.